Hey, hello guys. So, welcome to today's stream, and today we are going to start client-side web APIs. And before starting anything, I just noticed this wallpaper, and I guess it's Ventura, but I don't know if it's actually from Ventura or it's from before. But I really love this wallpaper, and I thought uh, I wanted to share that. And okay, so let's start client-side web APIs. I hope I find a better way to see chats. I don't know if there's any because I don't have a whole streaming setup now. Like what other I've seen what other YouTubers do. They keep another like monitor app for like managing all the stream work, but I can't actually do that. I think OBS has this studio mode where you can actually decide what's current scene and what's the next scene. But then for that also you need actually two monitors. Let's dive right back into it and see what we're doing. We're doing client-side web APIs when writing client-side JavaScript for websites or application. You will quick encounter application programming interface. APIs are program so features programming features for manipulating different aspects of the browser and operating system the site is running on, or manipulating data for other websites or services. In this module, we will explore that what web APIs are and how to use some of the most common, yeah, prerequisite to get the most out of this module. You should, yeah, we have all the prerequisites because we have read it from the starting. Introduction to Web APIs. Let's see how long this article is, and then we'll decide how much we'll cover. It doesn't seem that long. Let's see. Uh, so what looking at APIs from a high level. What are these? How do they work? How to use and your core? And so basically, they are telling us what APIs are. So application programming interface are construct that made available in programming language to allow uh, developers to create complex functionality more easily. They abstract more complex code away from you, providing some easier syntax to use. So basically, like they are saying, uh, API is like a socket. So you don't need to know how the electricity is coming at your house, or how like all the transformers and all the capacitors that they are using to manage that. But you just need to know which device you are using, and you just need to plug that into the wall. So that way only, like if you have a backend or and a front end, then you don't need to know how the backend is working. You just have a API endpoint, and which you need to connect it with your front end, and know that you'll get the result. So you don't actually need to know any details about the backend. So that's how APIs work, basically. Right, so these are not part of JavaScript languages. They built on top of core JavaScript language, providing you with extra superpowers to use your JavaScript code. They generally fall into two kinds: browser APIs and third-party APIs. Are built into web browser and able to expose data from the browser and surrounding computer environment and do useful complex things with it. For example, Web Audio API provides JavaScript construct for manipulating audio in the browser, taking an audio track, alternating its volume. Am I in frame? Yep. Or applying effects to it, etc. Its background. The browser is actually using some complex low-level code, example C++ plus plus or Rust, to do actual audio processing. But again, this complexity is abstracted away from you by the API. Third-party APIs are not built into the browser by default. You generally have to retrieve their code and information from somewhere on web. For example, Twitter API allows you to do things displaying your latest tweets on a website. It provides a special set of construct that uh, used to query the Twitter service return specific information. Okay, so relationship between JavaScript APIs and other JavaScript tools. So above we talked about how client-side JavaScript APIs are and how they relate to JavaScript language. Let's recap this to make it clearer, and also JavaScript high-level language and all that. Single-threaded allows you to implement functionality on websites web page. Browser APIs construct built into the browser that sits on top of the JavaScript language that allow you to implement functionality. Third-party APIs will build JavaScript libraries, usually one or more JavaScript files containing custom functions that you can attach to your web page to speed up enable writing common functionality. Example jQuery, Mootools, and React. What's Mootools? Mooto. Oh, it's like jQuery, I guess. Yeah, seems like jQuery. Yeah, it's like jQuery. Okay. Okay. It's good to have alternatives. It's actually good to have alternatives. What can APIs do? There are a huge number of APIs available in modern browsers. Allow you to wide variety of things in your code. You can see this by taking a look at the MDN API index page. Common browser APIs, in particular, the most common category of browser API you will use and which we'll cover in this module in great detail are APIs for manipulating document loaded into the browser, basically the DOM, and which allows you manipulating HTML, CSS, and all that. APIs to fetch data from server and update section. APIs for drawing and manipulating graphics, Canvas, WebGL. So these are technologies that you use for making graphics and basically drawing stuff. Audio and video APIs, device API, common third-party client-side storage, local storage, and all that. I guess index API. Okay. What's this index API? Something to see. I think web storage API is local storage and session storage. Yeah, but this we'll have to see. Yeah, the index. It's a whole topic. Third-party APIs, we know how do APIs work. We basically know socket. They are based on objects. The code interacts on APIs using one or more JavaScript objects, which serve as container of data in API, contain in the object properties and the functionalities. Cool. Audio context, which represent an audio graph that can be used to manipulate audio playing inside the browser and has number of methods. Element audio source that represent the audio element. Yeah, so these are basically the functionalities. Uh, so these are the objects we get from an audio file. The first we include an audio element with we embed the MP3. We didn't include any browser controls. Next, we include the button that will play and stop music and input element. Next, audio context. Video.audio context or window.webkit audio context. Exactly. Audio, new audio context. Cool. Now we have used, like, we have made a new object to fit that audio context. So we create a constant that store references audio button. Hmm. We get the make a, like, we select all the elements, and then on click what we want to do to resume. If the state is suspended, we want to resume. If class is goes to pause, we want to play. Set value to class playing. Cool. Basically, they are manipulating. All these features are actually very. I know they want to explain us what uh, the audio API is, but all these features are actually very easily available. Audio starts in the source. So yeah, APIs have recognizable entry point. When using API, you should make sure that you know entry point for the API. The web audio API is pretty simple. It creates is the audio context object it needs to use to any audio manipulation whatsoever. Document holding is the Canvas API also relies on getting context object. That's it. So Canvas also does the same. Hey, hello second person. Thanks. Uh, they often use events to handle changes in state. We already discussed events earlier in on this course, Introduction to Events article, which took in detail at what client-side web events are and how they are. We saw what events are, and so this is the same code. They are using events to uh, like listen to these events and apply functionality. They have additional security mechanism when appropriate. Web APIs feature subject to same security consideration as JavaScript and other web technology. For example, say origin policy. So what same origin policy is that uh, basically the browser prevents you from accessing uh, a server which does not allow a front end to access it. So let's say I have a backend and it allows localhost let's say 3000, then that will be permitted browser to access that backend. But if it does not allow localhost 3000, then the browser itself will block that request, and so that's what the same origin policy. But they sometimes have additional security margins. For example, some of the modern web APIs only work on several served over HTTPS due to them transmitting potential sensitive data. Example, service workers and push. What's push? Gives web application the ability to receive message push to from the our server. So push notifications. Okay, cool. And service workers essentially act as proxy server that sits between web application, the browser, and the network when available. They are intended, among other things, to enable creation of effective offline experience, intercept network requests, and take appropriate action based on whether the network is available and update assets residing on the server. They will also allow access to push notification and background sync APIs. Okay, cool. I know what service workers is. I have worked a bit with them, very basic, but push for something new. In addition to some web APIs request permission to be embedded. Mm, Request permission to be enabled from users. One call student are made in your code. For example, the notification API asks for permission using pop dialog box. The web audio and HTML media element API are subject to a security mechanism called Autoplay Policy. This basically means that you can't automatically play audio when a page loads. You got to allow the users to initiate audio play through a control like button. This is done because autoplaying audio is usually really annoying and we really shouldn't be subjecting the users to it. Exactly. But this has caused me problems before because I uh, I was building this Reels feature, and for that the user had to click a button and then they were shown Reels, and then for that I had to play stuff, but as because of this autoplay policy, the playing and pausing created a lot of problems for me. It created errors, so it's not like nice to see errors in the console, though it does not create that like technical problems. Like it was working, but still it created errors, and it was not nice to see. As a developer, I prefer that the code that I write does not have a lot of error, and in fact it has errors. It has error handling, but here there was no handling that I could initiate, and also it was not creating that problem. So uh, I spent a lot of time um, trying to figure that out, and then I got to know, okay, this is something and this is how it works. What can we do? In 17 minutes, manipulating documents, basically DOM. mm, I actually don't feel like doing a lot today. I have some other work. I guess we'll end it here only, like a short session, um to just be regular. That was my plan. That uh, I was hoping like a somewhat medium scale document for 30 minutes, but I guess I don't want to start something new today, and I think this will take some time. So I guess we'll start from this tomorrow, and today just ended here. So thank you guys for joining. Thanks to that person that liked that video. Uh, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.